Hi, my name is Patrick Reagan. Welcome to the Computer Expansion series of videos where we go in depth of the expansion slots and cards, ports, Bluetooth, NFC, and laptop options. This video is called Ports and Port Expansion, where we discuss the various ports found in the computer, including USB, Thunderbolt, Apple Lightning, and Serial port. It also reviews the video ports, network ports, PS2 ports, and audio ports. For those who are going to take the 8+ exam, there are practice questions toward the end of the video. If you like this video, don't forget to click the like button. And if you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. A computer port is a physical interface that allows a computer to connect with other devices such as peripherals, external storage, or other computers. These ports facilitate data transfer, power delivery, and communications between the computer and the connected device. They come in various types, each designed for a specific purpose. Besides expansion slots, computers often use the Universal Serial Bus, or USB, to add devices to the computer. USB can be used for data transfer and charging. While keyboards and mice are commonly connected through USB, it can also be used to connect flash drives, external hard drives, microphones, speakers, headsets, printers, cameras including webcams, fingerprint readers, scanners, and network interfaces, just to name a few. USB ports and devices are auto-configuring, supports hot swapping, and provide power. The maximum cable length for USB is 5 meters, or about 16 feet and 5 inches for high speed, and 3 meters for low speed devices. This slide shows the various USB ports and the related cable connectors. The first two USB ports were USB Type A and B. Type A is very common today, although it has been deprecated. Type B was used for larger peripheral devices such as printers or an upstream port on a USB hub. For a short time, mini and microUSB became popular, particularly with MP3 players, digital cameras, and mobile phones. The micro B connector used the micro connector, but also added an extra power rail needed for more power-hungry devices such as mechanical drives. All of these have been deprecated. Today, USB-C is the newest and is the only USB port that is actively being developed. It can transmit other signals including DisplayPort, HDMI, and Thunderbolt. All USB ports are deprecated except USB-C. This slide shows the various versions of USB. USB 1 was introduced to support human interface devices such as keyboards and pointing devices. USB 2.0 was considered high speed, such as those needed for flash drives. It also supported battery charging and sleep. USB 3.0 was introduced that supported super speed transfers of 5 gigabits per second, which was identified by the SS logo in blue port color. Faster versions were introduced after that, support up to 80 gigabits per second. A USB hub is a USB system consists of a host and one or more downstream ports and multiple peripherals forming a tiered star topology. It supports up to 127 devices. Technically, you can add additional USB hubs that allow up to 5 tiers. While the hub does provide power, you may need to connect an external power adapter, and some of the devices may need to have their own power depending on how much power is needed by all of the devices. If you have lots of self-power devices like printers and scanners, you probably don't need power. But if you have lots of unpowered devices such as mice and cameras, you will probably need a powered hub. Adapters and converters allow you to change between different connectors, which provide electrical compatibility, convert from one format to another, and to attach older peripherals to newer interfaces. Some of the examples would include USB to Ethernet, USB-C to USB-A, and USB-A to USB-C. When troubleshooting USB devices, first verify your connections and power. Then try swapping the devices and/or cables one at a time on another system, and try similar devices on the computer that you know that works. Since the USB ports are not covered, look for and remove debris in the USB port and verify that the device supports your specific USB standards and version. You should then try to reboot the computer. If you draw too much power, the computer could disable the port, which requires a reboot to re-enable the port. If you're going through a USB hub, verify connections and power, and try the device without going through the hub. If it works without going through the hub, verify that the hub supports the USB device, has sufficient power, or suspect that the hub is overloaded. Also, verify that the device is connected to a data port and not just a charging port. If the USB port seems not to be working, verify that the USB port is enabled in the BIOS setup program and see if the device can have its own power provided separately. Ensure that the driver is loaded. In Windows Device Manager, you can try to scan for hardware changes. You can also right-click each USB controller and select Uninstall. Then reboot your computer so they can automatically reinstall the USB controllers. Look for operating system, BIOS updates, and driver updates. For USBs connected to a cable that connects to the motherboard, verify that the cables are properly connected. Lastly, check the vendor websites for more ideas. The Thunderbolt port was developed by Intel in collaboration with Apple. It is a high-speed serial connector that allows you to connect various peripheral devices to your computer and combines data transfer, video output, and power delivery capabilities into a single compact connector. It combines the PCI Express and the mini DisplayPort standard and USB, delivers up to 100 watts with Thunderbolt 3 and 4, and supports up to 6 peripherals. Thunderbolt is often used for docking stations and are used on Apple laptops. The figure shows the Thunderbolt 1 port connector and the Thunderbolt 3 connector and cable. Remember, the Thunderbolt symbol is used to indicate a Thunderbolt port. This slide shows a docking station with the Thunderbolt connection. Thunderbolt 1 and 2 use the same connector as mini DisplayPort with bandwidth of 10 and 20 gigabits per second. Thunderbolt 3 and 4 reuse the USB-C connector from USB with bandwidth up to 40 gigabits per second. These cables and ports are cross-compatible with Thunderbolt 4. When devices with different capabilities are connected in a daisy chain, the connection will only support the lowest common data rate. Today, USB-C cables are now entirely compatible with Thunderbolt ports, and USB-C ports are compatible with Thunderbolt cables. A USB-C port that is not Thunderbolt enabled will not work with Thunderbolt devices. If your Thunderbolt device does not work, try the following. Try the Thunderbolt peripherals, port, and cable in another computer, or try a known good Thunderbolt device and cable in the computer where it is not working. For using Thunderbolt 1 or Thunderbolt 2, make sure that the computer and peripherals are both Thunderbolt compliant. Remember, if the computer port is mini DisplayPort, only DisplayPort devices will work. Install the latest driver for the Thunderbolt peripherals available on the manufacturer's website, and install the latest driver for the Thunderbolt port controller card. The Apple Lightning connector is Apple's proprietary connector used to connect Apple mobile devices like iPhones, iPads, and iPods to host computers, external monitors, cameras, USB battery chargers, and other peripherals. Its connector is an 8-pin reversible cable that can be inserted either face up or face down. It has similar speeds to USB 2.0, running at 480 megabits per second, can extend up to 2 meters or 6.5 feet to work optimally. There are several video ports used in computers today, including the DisplayPort, HDMI port, DVI, VGA, and Thunderbolt. These will be discussed in more detail in the video system series. Some systems will include dedicated audio ports that you plug 3.5mm RCA connectors. The blue port is line input, the green port is for headphones or speakers, and the pink is for the microphone. Notice the RCA port comes in 2 styles. The single black band is mono, and the dual black band is stereo, where the signal split between left and right speakers or headphones. Serial ports, or RS-232, is the legacy port. Compared to just about every port used today, RS-232 is very slow, which sends data bits that are framed with the start and end bits. It was originally used for dial-up modem connections and when it's used to connect a mouse. The common serial port is a 9-pin male port. While the port has been replaced by USB, Bluetooth, and other consumer applications, serial ports are still used to communicate with manufacturing devices and some networking equipment. If you need to interface with these devices and equipment, you can purchase an expansion card with a serial port, or you can purchase a USB device that has a serial port. The most common cable networking interface is Ethernet, which uses an RJ45 connector. However, some servers may have fiber connections as shown in the pictures. Fiber connections can send data faster and further distance than copper. PS2 port was the standard for mice and keyboards before USB. Some industrial, medical, or government systems still use PS2 for compatibility and may be used in secure environments where USB ports may be disabled or tightly controlled, which minimizes a hardware attack vector and prevents USB to be used for unauthorized data transfer. These ports are not plug and play. You should turn off your computer, plug the keyboard or mouse in, and then turn the computer on. Make sure that they're enabled in the BIOS setup program. Question: which of the following types of devices are most often used as a Thunderbolt cable? Answer: Apple laptop. Question: which of the following use the same non-keyed form factor? Choose two answers. Answer: Thunderbolt and USB Type-C. Question: which of the following has a reversible connector made for Apple devices? Answer: Lightning. Question: how many devices can you connect to a USB hub? Answer: up to 127. Question: which USB connector offers the fastest speed? Answer: Type-C. Question: what type of port is shown in the figure? Answer: USB Type-C. Question: what type of port is shown in the figure? Answer: USB Type-A, specifically a super speed Type-A port. Question: what type of cable would I connect my Apple iPhone to my Windows computer? Answer: Lightning to USB cable. Question. You're trying to connect a USB 3.0 device into a USB port. You notice the connector does not seem to be the correct size. What is the problem? Answer. USB port has a different form factor. Question. You have a system that you are replacing that talked to a cash register via 9-pin serial cable. Since the new computer does not have a serial port, what port or connector should you use? Answer. USB, where you'll have to purchase a USB to serial port adapter. For more information, refer to these sites. In summary, computers often use the Universal Serial Bus, or USB, to add devices to the computer. USB ports and devices are auto-configuring, supports hot swapping, and provide power. All USB ports are deprecated except USB-C. USB hosts can connect up to 127 devices to a single host controller. While the USB hub does provide power, when adding multiple devices, hub and/or devices may need to have a power adapter. Thunderbolt is a high-speed serial connector that allows you to connect various peripheral devices to your computer and combines data transfer, video output, and power delivery capabilities into a single compact connector. Thunderbolt is often used for docking stations. The Lightning connector is used to connect Apple mobile devices like iPhones, iPads, and iPods to host computers, external monitors, cameras, USB battery chargers, and other peripherals. Thank you for watching this video. The next video will be Computer Expansion Part 3, Bluetooth and NFC. If you like this video, be sure to click the like button. And if you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.